question I regularly get asked within my masterminds is, how do you make your voice heard? Your expertise recognized? How do you make your services stand out, and how do you become seen as a thought leader? Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast, where we bring you the best in branding, marketing, and customer experience strategies. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host. And if you've been asking yourself how to level up your growing business, your marketing, your customer experience, or how to make more of an impact with your brand, this show is for you. You'll discover actionable tips and insights to help businesses just like yours gain clarity and illuminate the path to success. Train with industry experts, learn sales and marketing strategies, business and mindset hacks, and be inspired by authentic entrepreneurship stories. As your host, I share the no-nonsense advice that accelerated my journey from boring bank manager to industry thought leader in marketing and customer experience. Learn how I made the leap into the world of six-figure success, digital courses, keynote speaking, and co-authoring a #1 bestseller in just 1 year. Together with interviews from industry experts, this show ensures you're seen, heard, and hired by your ideal clients. Join our growing community of subscribers and let the Master Your Business podcast empower you to tackle your most significant challenges on your path to business success. Don't miss out. It's your turn to learn from the best and master your dream business. Hey there, fellow service providers. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host of the Master Your Business podcast. Today, we're talking about webinars, masterclasses, and workshops, the 3 magical tools that have transformed my business, and I'm confident they can do the same for yours too. So in today's online service business landscape, sometimes it feels like you're trying to shout over a roaring crowd to get noticed. Anyone else feel that way? It's really why. It's because there are countless businesses vying for our ideal client's attention, vying for your attention, my attention. And so a question I regularly get asked within my masterminds is, how do you make your voice heard? Your expertise recognized? How do you make your services stand out, and how do you become seen as a thought leader? So it's one question, but it's all of the questions combined, if that makes sense. And so there is a solution. And it's the same solution I always share with clients. And that solution is embracing the power of valuable content. Enter webinars, masterclasses, and workshops. They seriously can be the unsung heroes of growing your business. And it doesn't matter what your niche is or what your industry is, the same thing applies. These educational events, they're not just about imparting knowledge, they're actually about creating meaningful connections, establishing credibility and authority for you as an individual and for your brand. And they're about attracting a passionate audience who are eager to learn from you. And they're not just online events that have been around since the pandemic. They're around since before the pandemic. In fact, for many online business owners who've been doing this sort of work pre-COVID, they've been using this type of event format for over 8 years or more. Seriously. So there's still a thing today in 2024, and here's why. Webinars, masterclasses, and workshops, they offer a wealth of benefits that can catapult your business to new heights, like enabling you to position yourself as a thought leader, as an expert in your field. They can really leave a lasting impression on potential clients because you create an experience at the event, pre the event, at the event, and post the event. You can attract a pool of engaged and, more importantly, qualified individuals who are already interested in your services. And then what does that do? It makes the sales process a whole lot smoother. You can create more meaningful connections and relationships with potential customers, building trust and loyalty that's really hard to replicate in any other type of content format that you might create or deliver. So when these types of events are done well, what can you expect? Probably you're going to experience a surge in sales and revenue as you convert these valuable leads into paying customers. Yeah. For years, I've been incorporating webinars. For years, when I say since I started my business in January of 2021, I've been incorporating webinars, masterclasses, and workshops into my business strategy. And the results have been nothing short of phenomenal. I kid you not. Now, I'm not going to pretend every single time I've done one of these that it's been a success. That is so not the case. I've put on events where there've been hardly any sign-ups. Like, people don't even register to attend. Never mind anything else. And I'll share more of those kind of downs in a few minutes. But I keep doing these types of events because they have helped me. They've helped me reach a worldwide audience. I've had people on from 9 or 10 different countries at one particular event, and at a time, I mean. And obviously that helps with expanding reach and potential customer base. They've helped me generate a steady stream of really high quality leads, people who are ready to take the next step and work with me, people who have the problems that I've talked about. They've helped me to turn potential customers into loyal clients, building a really strong customer base. And they're a great way to nurture existing clients as well. And I have experienced revenue growth that has genuinely propelled my business forward. And this top of the funnel framework, if that's what you want to call it, has helped me win some of my longest and most valuable and most profitable clients. So they're definitely not to be sniffed at. Now, some of the downs, because where there's ups, there's downs, right? The kicker to the ego when no one registers. Oh my gosh, like I have literally gone to bed for maybe a day or two afterwards because I've just been so down in the dumps when nobody registers, or a ton of people register and nobody shows up. It's so disheartening, and like it genuinely feels like rejection. It's horrible, but you know, that's life and that's okay. It frustrates me and I'm like, oh, I'm never doing them again because of the work that they can take if you do an all-in event as part of a bigger launch. But mainly it's the ego and that sense of wasted time and pulling it all together when it doesn't result in bums and seats for the actual event that you put on or paying clients afterwards. But having said that, the more of them that I do, the less it affects my ego and the more I see it now as a learning experience. And I now have a sort of checklist that I go through and ask, was it my headline that didn't work or that did work? Was it the graphic I used? Was there a picture of me in the graphic, or was there a picture of something else in the graphic? Was there any picture on the graphic? What was the format of the event? Was it on Zoom? Was it at a particular time? Was it on LinkedIn? Was it streamed live? Was there, how much did I promote it on social media? Did I email my list to notify them that it was on? Where did I share the information? Did I share the information enough? Was the date and time convenient? And all of those things. So it's like a checklist to see, did I do it right? Because sometimes it's easy to come on and do a masterclass and do it impromptu. Like this could nearly be considered a masterclass. For doing these types of events, when I started my business in 2021, in fact, before I started, I finished working in the bank that I was working in December of 2020, around the 4th or 5th of December, I think it was. And I already had my coach lined up that I was going to start working with in January of 2021. And she'd recommended that I read some books. And I read a book by Russell Brunson. You may have heard of him. He has written a book, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. There might be some other sort of secrets thing. But Expert Secrets was really about positioning yourself as a thought leader. And one way of doing that was with webinars, workshops, masterclasses. So I read that, and that kind of propelled me to read more of books along those lines about, oh, this is a really great way potentially to do this. And we were mid-pandemic at the time. So I was inspired by Zoom and how accessible it was. And actually reading that book and working with my coach and starting my business mid-pandemic helped me have the vision, if you like, to think, oh my gosh, I could actually have a global business. My business doesn't have to be based here in Ireland, where I'm specifically bound by location. I live in the middle of two counties, Carlow and Kilkenny, and I don't have to be bound by geography, if I'm online and I can do these types of events, I can have people from all over the world attend. And so I really dove under the hood and I read Jeff Walker's book. I think it's called Launch Formula or something. Another lady, Kelly Roach's book. She has one called The Live Launch Method. I follow Amy Porterfield. I listen to her podcast and I have done one of her programs as well. And she's got methods on how to get bums and seats, the flow that you should follow when you're giving a webinar masterclass, if you're going to sell at the end of it, like they all do. And let me tell you, I hate most of them. But here's why. It's because they're so salesy. And I'm sorry for my avid listeners in the USA, but you guys, you are so salesy over there. I can just picture you guys saying you've gone mad and you're sawing mattresses in half outside some of your shops. That sort of stuff just doesn't happen in Ireland, or probably the UK, to be fair. And what really put me off was shortly after reading all of those books in a row, I attended a masterclass that was being run by a guy in my niche. And at the time, my niche was really focused on customer experience. And at the end of the masterclass, he went step by step through some of the sales methods listed in these books. Now, I hadn't yet put on a masterclass, so I was really interested to see what it would feel like as a consumer. And I wasn't in a position to buy because I just signed up to work with a coach, and it was quite a big investment for me because I'd never invested in myself in that way before. And, my business was new and I had no money or revenue ready to come in yet at that time. It was like week 3. So really early days. But on that masterclass where this guy was like, he was going for it, like he was really going for it. And he did a great job. Let me just say, he totally did justice to the techniques in the books. And a lot of the techniques when you're live in the masterclass that they talk about in the books, they're very similar. And I just felt icky. I really did. I really just felt icky. And so I decided then and there that I was never going to sell like that on my events. Never. And I haven't. Now, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'd make tons more sales if I did that. But that's just not really my style. It's hard sell. I just don't like hard sell. I prefer what's called gap selling, which is if you've got a problem and I've got a solution, then let's work together as opposed to just pushing products and selling. And I prefer to offer people the option to hop on a call. That's what my call to action is everywhere, on LinkedIn, on website, on social media. Heck, even if you're subscribed to my podcast, like that's my call to action. If you want to talk about how you can work with me, let's hop on a call. That's it. I prefer to offer people that option to chat about how I can help them further because I want to make sure that you have a problem I can solve. That's why. That's literally the reason why. And so I don't want to sell to everybody because not everybody is my ideal client. Now, again, I could be totally naive and this could be a game changer for me. Maybe I won't be aiming for 500,000 in 2024 as my revenue goal. Maybe I'd be aiming for 7 figures if I did that. But I just don't feel like sawing mattresses in half on my masterclasses. I'm sorry. But I will say when I'm on my masterclasses, what I am inclined to do at the end is to offer people, if they'd like to take the next step, might be a low value product that you can buy for X amount of money. And usually it's a very low ticket offer for less than 500 quid, right? Now, some of my highest paying clients have come through this type of funnel. So it definitely works. And I don't go on to these masterclasses and I really don't advocate that you do, which is why I'm dwelling on this point because it's not nice. It doesn't feel nice. People don't like to feel sold to. And often when I'm on a masterclass, I'll call out at the start that, by the way, this is not an hour-long sales pitch. They're icky. I don't like them. But I will tell you at the end that if you want to book a call with me, I'll tell you how. That's it. Or I will say at the end, I'm going to say I have a very low ticket offer that you can avail of only if you're interested. And you only need to stay on if you're interested. And if you're not, that's fine. Hop off. So rather than an hour-long sales pitch, at the end, I will spend 3 to 5 minutes after delivering enormous value for 50 minutes to an hour and a half about whatever the topic is in the webinar, I'll spend 3 to 5 minutes, right? That's it. So if you're new to this world of webinars, masterclasses, and workshops, I want to give you a sort of a roadmap to help you get started. And again, at the end, when you're doing this and you're live, that's all you need to know. You only need to spend 3 to 5 minutes going on about how people can work with you. That's it. You don't need to sell there and then. And even selling there and then requires having a lot more things set up, which can maybe put you off getting started. So to get started, step 1, decide on a topic that you could talk about for hours on end that will resonate with your target audience. So I could talk about this webinars, masterclass, and workshops for hours because I've done so many of them at this stage. And I could literally talk off the cuff about how to set them up with different platforms and systems so that you have an end-to-end, like opt-in pages and all this sort of stuff. But really, one of my words for 2024 is simplicity. You don't need all that stuff. What you need is a topic that's going to resonate with your target audience. And then you need to be able to think about how you can tap into and address their pain points and aspirations as part of that topic in whatever you're going to cover at your event. That's it. Then third step is decide what you want the next step to be at the end of your event. So whether that is book a call or whatever it might be, you want to be clear on how you're going to guide participants towards taking that next step. Maybe it's an action or homework they have to go off and do, or maybe they've got to send you an email or complete a workbook. But maybe it's signing up for your services or signing up for your email list, whatever it is. Make sure you know what that call to action is going to be. Now that you've decided those 3 crucial aspects, next, you're going to spread the word about your event. You're going to do that across your website, maybe with a pop-up form, or maybe you might have it like flashing text, scrolling text across the top banner, something like that. It could be on social media. It could be on other channels. Whatever it is, the idea is that you create some buzz and excitement about your event. Now, when you are doing that, there's a couple of things that you need to think about in advance. And it's a bit like I said at the start, some of the checklists that I mentioned. Now, I don't have an official one, but maybe actually saying this out loud, that's something that I should create and share with you. You can let me know by sending me a DM on social media if that would be useful, because I do have a step-by-step for launches that I share with my clients, but maybe one for webinars will be helpful, webinars, masterclasses, and workshops. Let me know by sending me a DM if you think that would be useful. But once you've finished, what I was going to say there was when you are putting on the event and you're sharing it on social media and you're going to the trouble, make sure you check calendars. If your ideal clients are, let's say, women in business, for example, but those women are maybe they're full-time moms as well as full-time business owners, then putting on an event during the kids' school holidays is probably not a good idea. Or let's imagine if I'm putting on an event, and I did this in 2023, I had an event in October. I was really conscious of Thanksgiving because that's not really celebrated in Ireland. In fact, it's not really celebrated at all here. Bar, I have some friends from the US who live here. And I also have lots of connections in the story brand community in the US. I'm aware that if I want some of my US prospects to come to this event, I better not put it on when it's Thanksgiving week because people are going to be off and busy and doing things with family. So be mindful of what's happening in the lives of your ideal clients when you're putting on events like this. And then the last thing you want to do is stay in touch with participants, right? So you want to try and capture their email addresses if you're going to get them to come to your event. And you can do that with LinkedIn, actually. If you create your event on a business page on LinkedIn, there's a box that pops up which is capturing registrants' information. So it literally gathers their email addresses for you and it tells them when they opt in to attend that they're given your email address. Now, that doesn't mean that you can spam them with emails. They haven't officially opted into anything except for your event. So don't spam or they won't want to become clients with you. But do stay in touch for a little while before and afterwards. So remind them the event is coming up. And then afterwards, you could offer them additional valuable resources if they don't book a call or buy from you at that actual event. And the idea here is that you're nurturing the relationship with them. And that relationship and nurturing it in a nice way could lead to a long-lasting partnership. That has absolutely happened for me. So I do have a bonus tip here, and the fortune is in the follow-up. That's my bonus tip. Some people might not be ready to take action on the day of your event, but after a few days, weeks, or months, that could totally change. If you get their permission to send them emails and messages, by all means, definitely do. Folks, if you've never used webinars, masterclasses, and workshops, I can't recommend them enough. You can get started with just a social media post and a Zoom link. That is literally all you need to do to create them. That's it. And you could just go live like that for the very first time and not expect anything in return. Do it as a sort of practice or beta launch if you've never done it before. But yes, they can be a lot more complicated. You can have like opt-in pages that are landing pages that you create with emails that are gathered. And then people are brought to the value page where they're gone to the event. The events don't have to be live. They can be what's called evergreen, which basically means people can watch them at any point in time. And then they get brought to other sales pages and all this sort of stuff. So they can be so complicated. And that was actually one of the things that put me off some of the strategies in the books that I read when I started. Now it's all about simplicity and the easiest way that you can put it on for yourself as a really strong tool to generate leads and revenue for your business. And what's great about this is when you choose the title, bonus tip number 2, when you choose the title for your event and you call out who it's for, the problem it's solving, what you're actually doing is you're qualifying the leads for your event. So these people who show up, they're really really good prospects for your business. They're highly qualified to work with you potentially. And you don't even need slides when you do your event. So the thing is, just get started. And as I said before, again, some of the things that didn't work for me were maybe the titles weren't good enough. They weren't strong enough. They didn't call out who it was for or the problem it's going to solve. So that's really important, I think, to focus on. And the graphics, make sure the graphics look like they're professional and really good quality. Make sure they're good. And the caption about your event is clear. And away you go. And if you want some help to clarify what that caption is, go back and listen to the episode 62, I think it was, 61 or 62, about bullet points. Go back and listen to that episode about bullet points, because you should absolutely use bullet points in your captions about your events to highlight the benefits, or maybe to call out the pain points as well. And you could share the testimonials in here from other people who've attended or people who've worked with you and gotten great results. Definitely do that in your caption. Okay, there's tons of bonus tips there. So remember that these events, when you host them, they're not just about broadcasting your knowledge, they're about building relationships. They definitely will establish your credibility. That's just a side effect of running them, and they'll absolutely attract a loyal clientele. That's a wrap for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. And before you go, please remember to subscribe to the Master Your Business podcast wherever you're listening to me today. Give the show a rating and leave a review. Your feedback helps me reach more listeners just like you and share my knowledge with the world. So until next time, thank you for listening and keep mastering your business.